What's up, everybody? Welcome back. Hope everybody's having a great day or night whenever you're watching this. I'm going to talk about the Indianapolis Colts because I think they're about to be the most slept on team going into the NFL this season. And I think they can win like 12 or 13 games. And that might be a hot take, but let me prove it. I'm going to prove it with the depth chart and their schedule because it looks great. Okay. Before I do that, real quick, if you're new to the channel, please subscribe. And if you enjoy this kind of content, please like the video. But let's give the Indianapolis Colts some damn love. Okay, so we got the depth chart right here. This is the offense and the defense, but we're going to start with the offense. Matt Ryan at quarterback is a huge upgrade over Carson Wentz, and they were already pretty decent with Wentz last season. So I think getting a big upgrade there is going to help a lot. You go from like a top 20 quarterback to a top 13 quarterback. I think that's a big deal. Jonathan Taylor, that's the running back. I think that's the best running back in football, in my opinion. I've loved that guy ever since college. He's a beast. Going up here to the receivers, I know they're very high on Alec Pierce. That they drafted him in the second round. I think they're expecting him to come in and fill a big role next to Michael Pittman, who I think is going to have a monster year with Matt Ryan. Matt Ryan basically had a wide receiver one pretty much every year that he was a quarterback with talent, right? You can think about Julio Jones. You can think about Roddy White. Had those guys. Michael Pittman, I'm not going to say he's like them, but he's very damn good, and he got an upgraded quarterback. I think you can expect him to take a jump. Paris Campbell, not quite as good as Michael Pittman, but Paris Campbell's solid. He's very quick. And then you get to the offensive line, which is a real strength. Matt Pryor is solid. They drafted Bernard Raymond in the third round, I think. And, so they got a little bit of depth there at the tackle position. Quentin Nelson might be the best lineman in all of football. So got a dub right there. Ryan Kelly is one of the best centers in football. So you got a dub right there, too. I don't know anything about Danny Pinter. Braden Smith is a very, very good right tackle. So basically, they've got like 3 or 4 really, really strong linemen on their roster right now. And that's a great start to have with Jonathan Taylor, with Matt Ryan in that wide receiving core. And then you got Mo Alley Cox, who's a solid tight end, not going to blow the doors off, but he's competent. He doesn't make you lose games. So the offense is already, they're not loaded, but they're set up to be successful, especially because of that offensive line and the improvements at quarterback with having the best running back in football, in my opinion. So let's get to the defense. And this defense is so sneaky good because they could legitimately be top 5, and I wouldn't even be shocked because after looking at their depth chart and the talent that they have, it is insane. We're gonna start here with the left defensive end in Kwity Paye, I believe is how you say his name. He was a first round pick last year, had like 4 or 5 sacks, I think. I think the big thing that's gonna help for him is one going into year 2. That's always a bonus for these players. You tend to see that improvement, but he's also going to be a opposite of Yannick Ngakoue, who is a 10+ sack machine. Getting that trade for him, I thought was very, very good. Grover Stewart is one of the best run stuffing D tackles in the league. DeForest Buckner doesn't get any love for some reason, but that is one of the most underrated nose tackles, D tackles. He can play pretty much anywhere on the line. He's a beast. He's so slept on. I don't even know how to really go about him because he's just so damn good. And he's got help with Yannick Ngakoue now. You got Kwity Paye going into his second year. You got a good run stuffer in Grover Stewart. So it's like they got a really, really solid D line already, maybe even elite in some eyes. But then where I think they really get elite is the linebackers because Bobby Okereke, I believe is how you say his name, blew onto the scene last season. I think he had like 120 tackles or something. My fault. It was 132 tackles last season. I think he had a couple interceptions, maybe a forced fumble or two. He's super, super good. I think he's going into his third year, something like that. But he blew up. I think it's his 4th year. He blew up last season, really strung onto the scene. And he's playing next to Shaquille Leonard, aka Darius Leonard, in my opinion, the best linebacker in football. Those two next to each other, that linebacking core is probably the best in the league. Just with those two, that is as stacked as it gets, in my opinion. And Bobby's going into his 4th year, and he looks like he's primed for an even better season. You got Darius Leonard, he's on the PUP list right now, but I think he's coming back for the start of the season. Shaquille Leonard, yeah, that's what he wants to go by, but I'm just so used to Darius Leonard. Their linebacking core is loaded. Then we get to the secondary, and the secondary is above average, in my opinion. Brandon Fasiason, I don't know how you say his name, Faxon, something like that. He's not great, but he's not bad. He's solid. He's not a world breaker or anything like that, but he's competent. Nick Cross is a safety that they drafted this year. I know they're very high on him, but they also picked up Rodney McLeod, and I'm an Eagle fan, so I got a lot of love for him. He is, having that depth at that strong safety spot is going to really help them. And Rodney can play both safety spots too. So if anybody goes down, like Julian Blackman, I think he got hurt last year. I think he only played in 6 games. But as a rookie, Blackman was really, really good. And I think they're kind of hoping that he's able to get back to form and stay healthy this year. So I think their safeties, they got enough depth to make it work. And then these two corners right here, and Stephon Gilmore was a former defensive player of the year, and he's not that guy anymore, but he's still really, really good, and that's fine. He's a freaking awesome corner, and he's amazing, right? But the real corner that I really love on this team is Kenny Moore the second, because that guy is the best slot corner in football, and he can cover the outside if he has to too. Very good at that. He's underrated as a corner. He doesn't get it's the similar thing as DeForest Buckner. Maybe it's just because they play for the Colts and there's not a whole lot of publicity going to them. But Kenny Moore the second is a freaking standout at corner. So I love watching that guy play. Can't wait to see how his season goes because he's a monster. He should probably make the Pro Bowl, probably should be all pro. Best slot corner in the game, not even close. And then they have good special teams with Rigoberto Sanchez as the I believe that's the punter. Rodrigo Blankenship's I think he's the kicker that wears glasses. He's solid. Naheem Hines as a returner is good. Even backing up Jonathan Taylor is good too. I love Naheem Hines. He's one of the best pass catching backs in the league. So that's the depth chart. The depth chart is loaded top to bottom. Like there's not really any huge weakness on their roster. So talent alone, I think, is going to win them a lot of games. But let's go to the schedule and see why I said I think they're going to win 12 to 13 games. Okay. Week 1 at the Texans. I don't think the Texans are going to be any good at all this season. I think they beat the Texans. That's a dub. 1-0. Jaguars, same story as the Texans. 2-0. I think that's a win. Chiefs, that is still Patrick Mahomes. I'm going to say the Colts lose this game to the Chiefs. You're still at 2-1. I think it's going to be a close game, though. So you're 2-1. I think the Titans are going to have a massive fall off this season. There's way too many signs that are pointing to them taking a dip. Mainly Derrick Henry coming off of an injury, going into his age 28 season. That's typically not good for running backs. They already have QB controversy and Ryan Tannehill not being the guy. And it's just, there's too many signs. Like their corners are super unknown. Like there's not enough for me to take the Titans seriously this season. I think they're going to have a pretty down year. So I think that the Colts beat them here. It puts them at 3-1. Broncos are going to be really good. I'm going to say they lose that game. So it'll be 3-2. You get to the Jaguars, beat the Jaguars again. You're at 4-2. Titans again, beat them 5-2, beat the Commanders 6-2, beat the Patriots 7-2. I think the Patriots are gonna have a pretty down year too. So you're at 7-2 after playing the Patriots. Then you get to the Raiders. I think this is gonna be a toss-up game. I'm gonna say they win this game, but I would not be surprised if they lose this one. That's okay though. I put them at 8-2 in my opinion right here. The Eagles, that's my second favorite team. I do think the Colts will beat the Eagles here. You're at 9-2 there. The Steelers have QB controversy. You don't really know what they're going to have going in. Their offensive line isn't that improved, although they do have Mike Tomlin, who has never had a losing season. So this game will probably be close, but I'm going to take the Colts to beat them at 10-2 now. Then we get to week 13 against Dallas. I think the Cowboys are going to surprise some people this season. I think they're going to be pretty decent. I think the Dallas takes them here and is able to pull that win. Would not be surprised if the Colts win this game though. So that puts them at, I think, 10-3 going into their bye week. Week 14, that's a great spot to be, 10-3, I personally think the Vikings have a very good chance at winning their division. I just love the coaching change that they made. And, I just like how it projects on paper. So I am going to say they lose this game. I think that puts them at 10-4. And then Chargers are my team. I think the Chargers are a Super Bowl contender. That may be bias or whatnot, but I think the Chargers beat them here. So you're at 10-5. Okay. But then you get the Giants. I think the Giants are going to be pretty bad. That puts you at 11-5. Okay. Then we get to the Texans at the last game of the season. You're at 12-5. Who knows if it'll even mean anything for you guys, but I think they could reasonably win 12 to 13 is the max I put at them. I think they're anywhere from 11 to 13 wins just because, they are playing the Raiders, the Chargers, the Chiefs, and the Broncos. Those are 4 really tough games. But I think that's where you're going to see just how good this team is because they might upset. Like I said, they'll probably beat the Raiders. They could upset my Chargers. They could upset the Chiefs. They could upset the Broncos. Like they're that talented. So I would not be surprised if this team wins 12, 13 games and has a lot of attention going into the playoffs because I think that they'll have a home game. I really love them to win the division first and foremost. I think that's just that's one thing I'm so confident in right now. And this is of course saying with health. So I just think when you look at it, the offense has enough weapons. They have a really good O-line. They got an upgraded quarterback. They have the best linebacking core in the league, possibly. Their cornerbacks and their safeties are above average. And then their D-line is slept on. And, Yannick Ngakoue, DeForest Buckner, Kwity Paye going into year 2. I really, really like this team. So going over this, what do you agree with my depth chart analysis? Like how talented these guys are. And then the schedule. There's going to be some give and take here. You might have them losing to the Raiders, you might have them beating the Broncos, whatnot. Let me know how you feel about their schedule and what their record will be, and how excited you are for Matt Ryan to be stepping in, Jonathan Taylor to be going into another awesome projecting season. Alec Pierce has a draft pick, Michael Pittman going into year 3. I think it should be year 3. Let me know how you're feeling about the Colts this season, because this team is I think they're going to win at least 12 games. And I'm very confident in that. I think they're going to be right there. It's going to be a fun team to watch this season that's not getting any attention, and I don't know why. But anyway, if you're new to the channel, please subscribe. If you enjoy this kind of content, please like the video. I really, really appreciate it. But look out for the Colts this season, because they're gonna turn some heads, and they're gonna shock some people with how good they are. I'm banking on that. That is not a hot take. I am so confident in that. But anyway, thank you for watching. I am done here. Peace.